Hello one and all, it's Gordon here at Avolites. I'm going to spend today talking about some masks, explaining them, explaining what they do, and hopefully trying to make your programming lives a little bit easier. There are three masks that I often use inside programming to help and make lives a little bit easier. The first one is the locate mask. If I hold down the locate button, the top soft key that I get is set mask, which is really nice and useful for the fact that if I'm in the middle of a show and I want to reset some fixtures, I might not want to locate the intensity, but I want to locate everything else. Holding down that locate button and tapping intensity, you can see that the intensity is then set to exclude in the mask, but everything else is include. So now when I locate, it will not use any of that intensity information. If I do it properly rather than the useless way, that will come in handier. So with the intensity not inside my locate mask, I can tap locate and there you go. The fixtures have located, but they are not going to locate with intensity information as well. Hello to everyone who's sending me wavy signs and thumbs up. I'm here, I'm live at Avolites HQ in the middle of London. We've got Cully on the messages who is going to hopefully answer any questions you guys have. So feel free to type them in and we shall reply to them as we go along. The next mask that I want to show you guys is the clear mask. Just to demonstrate this, if I put some pan information in, some color information in these fixtures, just so they're doing a whole host of random things. I'm going to chuck a gobo in there as well. And I want to record this, but I want to get rid of that color information. It's not useful to me. So holding down the clear button, I've got another mask that I can use. If I set this mask, I can say that I'd like the clear button to exclude gobo information. Now if I press clear, it's going to clear everything, but it's going to leave that gobo information inside the programmer, which is nice and useful and can make your lives a lot easier if you've just touched an attribute by accident or you just want to get rid of something from inside the programmer. I can hold down that clear button. I can say okay, this position information, this pan and tilt information, I'd like to get rid of. Pressing exit to go back in the menu one step after I have chosen what I want inside and outside of my mask. I can then tap that clear button as I normally would, and you can see that that gobo information that I excluded earlier on is still inside the programmer, and that pan and tilt information is still in there from earlier on. Holding down that clear button, you've got two useful options on your soft keys as well. Soft key B is set mask to clear nothing. This is useful if you just want to clear one particular attribute. It saves you going through all of the attributes and taking them outside of the mask like this. I can say set mask to clear nothing and then just choose one particular attribute. I can then clear just that one particular attribute out of the mask. Lots of thumbs up signs. I like this. This is good. Send questions in if you've got them, guys. We will answer them either via me on the microphone or via Cully on the messages or on the posts, which, as I can see, there are even more thumbs up than there were before. Right. Going on with my clear masks, I can choose a couple of other things which can be nice and useful to you. Hold it down clear, set mask to clear all. You can see that I have 4 different attributes inside the programmer at the moment, and my mask originally was only clearing pan and tilt information. If I set mask to clear all and then choose just pan and tilt information, then this is going to be a lot easier than me selecting every single attribute inside the mask except for one. It's another quick access option that can make your lives a lot easier and a lot quicker. The next mask that I want to talk about briefly, I know I'm hammering through all of these, but I'll go back through and spend some more time on them, is the record mask. The record mask can be particularly useful. If you've built yourself a nice look, as I will start to do now, then what we can do is we can just put certain pieces of this information record them wherever we would like. There we go. That looks mediocre. That'll do nicely. So I've got a couple of different fixtures in here, and I only want to record, say, the intensity information of those fixtures that I have chosen in one particular playback. The first option that I have when I tap record is which record mode I'd like to use. Those either by channel, fixture or stage, which we'll go into in another webinar, and I believe there is already one currently online if you want to have a look at it. Soft key C is set mask. Set mask can be particularly useful in the record button, mainly because of this top soft key. The top soft key is a toggle switch in between auto resetting the mask and remembering the mask. If I set it up to remember the mask, then what it's going to do is it's going to leave those attributes that I have inside that mask. If I have it set up to auto reset the mask, then it means every time I tap record, it's going to reset this mask to include every attribute. I can then go through the mask as you would with any other ones and just either include or exclude particular pieces of information. Pressing exit as always to go back in the menu one step. I can then tap record after I have found an available playback, and that's just going to have recorded my colour and my intensity information. You can see that position information is still in the programmer. So if I tap record, this time I might want to record just that position information by channel, and I can tap there. Here I've used two masks. I've used the clear mask and I have used the record mask to just get information exactly where I want it. I'll locate these lights just so that they're starting from a happy, comfortable position, and you can see there that the pan and tilt information that I put into those particular fixtures are just staying exactly where they are. If I bring this playback up, then it's going to display any of that pan and tilt information that I recorded in there before. So let's go into these one by one, a little bit slower and then a little bit more detail for those of you who haven't used them before. The clear mask is really useful for just clearing particular attributes outside of the programmer. It's just going to remove that information from the programmer. It's not going to do anything fancier or more complicated. That clear button just removes information from the programmer. At the moment, if I have this top soft key when I hold down the clear button saying set mask with every single attribute in there, then as soon as I tap clear, it's going to clear every single attribute out of the programmer. If I put some values back inside the programmer just so that you can see the difference, and I say, right, I would like to clear that colour information out of the programmer, I can hold down the clear button and I can use the mask on the top soft key when I've held down the clear button to go, right, well, I'm using clear at the moment, so I don't want to clear intensity, I don't want to clear pan and tilt, I don't want to clear any gobo information or anything like that. I just want to clear this colour information. So you can see now, using the clear button, everything is set to exclude except for colour. I can press exit to go back in that menu one step. my mask just has clear information in it, so the colour is just going to be cleared when I tap the clear button. And you can see on the bottom right hand side of the screen, this attribute bank here, I've still got the intensity information in there, the pan information in there, and the gobo information in there. So it's just cleared that colour information out of the programmer. If I wanted to record this, I can tap the record button, and I can record and use a mask as well. So I can choose whether I want to get rid of information, or I can choose whether I just want to record specific bits of information into the programmer. Using the record mask, I can choose if I want to auto reset or remember that mask. Personally, I tend to leave it on auto reset, but you can set it to remember if you want. This means that you can build entire looks, entire movements, anything that you want, and just choose whether spend some time recording some particular attributes. Lay out your console however you want, just record those pieces of information, and you can still have everything displayed on your rig quite nicely. Say, recording this particular look, I don't want to record any of those pieces of position information that I've put in. I can choose for the record mask to exclude position, so we're telling the record mask to ignore the position. I can then tap exit to go in back in the menu one step, and I can choose an available playback. That is the record mask and the clear mask, both being used nicely together. The locate mask can really come in handy, especially if you have any fixtures that are misbehaving, or fixtures you just want to check but you don't want them to go to dark, or you just want to leave a particular gobo in there at the time. As always with Avolites, we grab some lights and we tell them what to do. This time I've grabbed all of my spots. You can see they're currently live at the moment, outputting a nice yellow gobo. If I hold down the locate button, I've got a mask there. On the top soft key, same as all the other ones where they're on the top soft key, I can then choose soft key A of set mask. Say I don't want it to locate any intensity information or any gobo information, but the rest of it I want it to locate. I want the console to send those locate instructions so they go back into a nice happy position. Pressing exit to go back in the menu one step, I can definitely see that intensity and gobo information is not sat inside that mask. So when I tap locate, you can see that intensity is still up and that gobo information is still in there, but everything else has located. Any questions so far, feel free to comment on this live webinar. It is live, believe me, I'm here. We've got our wonderful support engineer at London HQ here as well, on the buttons, ready to answer any questions that you guys may have. Putting some of these masks into a real world scenario can be a little bit tricky, but I'm going to try my best for you. A designer, for example, wants to see an entire look in yellow and then goes, yeah, that looks great, but I don't actually want it in yellow. I can either clear to get all of these values out of my console and then build the look again, or I can just work as I have been before and just not record that color information, because the designer might want the color information somewhere else. Chuck some intensity up at full. Designer says wonderful, but no color please. Tapping the record and using that record mask, I can say I'd actually want it to remember the pan and tilt information that I've put in there, but get rid of that color information from where it's recorded. It's still going to be inside the programmer because I'm not clearing this information outside of the programmer. I'll just start that from scratch so that you can see where I was going. Tapping exit to go back in the menu one step. I still have my normal record menu. There's nothing fancy or elaborate about that. I'm sure most of you guys have used it many times before. I can then choose an available playback. You'll see that these fixtures have got that intensity information in there, have got that positioning information in there. The reason why they are still blue is because of two different kinds of values that the console outputs. One is HTP, so that is the highest value taking priority. One is LTP, so that is the latest value taking priority. Things like colour and positions are LTP values, so they will pay attention to the most recent instruction you have given those lights. You can see if I bring this fader up and down, they're going to stay blue, and that's because the most recent colour instruction those fixtures have had is go blue. If I choose all of those spots and turn them to red, and put this same playback up, it's still got that colour in there because that is the latest instruction that those lights have received for colour. Highest takes priority is things like dimmer and intensity information. This is how, when I bring this playback up, that intensity information is going to get displayed. If I locate these lights, clear and exit, starting from an entirely blank stage, and I bring this playback up, you can see that position information is in there, that intensity information is in there, but that colour information is not. And that's because these lights, their most recent instruction, or their latest instruction taking priority, is that they have no colour information. Not no colour information, that's me misspeaking. That they have open white in those fixtures. Going back to my scenario involving a designer, if they say, yes, I'd like all of those even fixtures green, I'd like all of those odd fixtures yellow, and I'd like them in that position instead. Ooh, that's dreadful. Let's not use that. Let's use that position that we had earlier on. That's good. And say two of these fixtures are misbehaving, or two of these fixtures aren't properly going back to those positions that we wanted. I can still carry on putting values in other fixtures using that clear mask rather than the record mask that I spoke about earlier. If I hold it down, there is soft key E here, which is clear selected fixtures or clear all fixtures. So I can actually change from working with those beams that I was just programming a minute ago to just working back with these spots. And I can say, okay, well, I'd like to clear the selected fixtures, not their intensity information, but I'd like to clear the selected fixtures colour information. Tapping exit to go back in the menu one step, you can see that that clear mask has just got colour in it, and I'm clearing all fixtures that are selected or clearing selected fixtures. Tapping that, you can see that those lights changed. Working with the locate mask can be really handy inside shows. With the locate mask, I've also got the option whether I want it to auto reset or remember the mask. You can see at the moment I don't have colour information inside my locate mask, but I have everything else. So if I tap locate, of course it's just going to drop that colour information out. As opposed to conventionally, if I tap locate, where it would move all of those pan and tilt positions and everything else in between. Anyone got any questions so far? Feel free to drop a comment or message on this video. Otherwise, as I'm moving quite nicely through it, I am hoping that it's going to make sense to all you guys. And if you have any other questions, feel free to jot them on the Facebook forum or on email. or indeed sending us a message now so that we can get them cleared up, and hopefully this makes a lot more sense to you and you guys can have a bit of an easier programming life using these three important masks of record, clear and locate. One of the buttons that somebody got confused with me using fairly recently on a show was this odd/even button. Depending on what generation of console you have, it will either say all/odd/even, just all, or on this particular Titan 1 interface that I'm using for this demonstration, it says odd/even. Tapping it once brings up a number of options on my soft keys. The first one being odd, the second one being even, obviously. The third one is 1 in X. So I can type in a value for X. If I choose soft key C, it gives me a few shortcuts. So I can choose 1 in 3, 4, 5, 6. Or I can say 1 in 2. And I'll be able to use that. If I tap 1 in 3, say go to yellow, you can see every third fixture in there has now gone to yellow. If I want to record this as a look, but I don't want that intensity information in there, I just want that color information in there, I could either clear some of the values out of the programmer, or I could use the record mask and leave them all inside the programmer. So by tapping record once, I'm going to say that I want the intensity information in there, I don't want the pan and tilt information in there. Pressing exit to go back in that menu one step, I can choose a new playback, and that's it recorded. Now this playback, I can even show you inside it just to prove that it's only going to have that relevant information in it. It's not going to have anything that might confuse you. I like that colour scheme, I want to keep it, so holding down locate, I can take colour out, tapping exit to go back in the menu one step. I know that those lights are all currently in their locate position, they currently have full intensity because I've got that sat inside the programmer. If I don't want that sat inside the programmer, I can hold down that clear button. I can change my clear mask to include intensity. Now if I press clear, you can see that just those fixtures I had selected at the time have got their intensity at full. Everything else has not. Useful demonstration just to show you that some of those fixtures I had tapped locate to get their intensity at full. Locate does not put intensity values inside the programmer, but tapping on those intensity values does. This is just rounding up the amount of scenarios that I can think of in terms of using the record mask, the clear mask and the locate mask to make your guys' lives a little bit easier. I will post a vote up on the Facebook forum in the next couple of days, which is voting for the next topic for the webinar. So if you have any suggestions of topics, or you'd like to vote for your favourite idea or one that you seem to be struggling with in your programming, then please do let me know on that Facebook forum. The Facebook forum, for those of you who have not already joined it, is called Avolites Programmers and Users. There are a large number of our staff on it trying to help out where we can. There's also in excess of 10,000 users as well that seem to check it on and off, so you can always find support there. Other than that, I think this is me just about rounding up using masks. I hope this is useful to you, and I shall see everybody on the next one.